let's see, we're going to do overhook, underhook. Let me do the, yeah. So I'm going to start off with some games that I stole from Greg Sodders, but we're going to do overhook, underhook for our first game. The overhook guy, his objective, you don't have a win condition. It's just going the whole time. The underhook guy will have a win condition. So the overhook guy, all you're going to do is you have two options, and you have to control this the whole time. You're going to either follow your partner with sticky feet. So like in instance, it'll look like this, like we'll be fighting for hand position. Maybe I looked off balance with my feet. The other option is, let's say I do get looped down to the hands with some sticky feet. I have to just control this the whole time until Luke can start to come back up. Luke's job as the underhook guy is he only has to grab his hands together. So that could be, as long as it's underneath my shoulders, it could be to the body lock, it could be to the legs, it can even be to the ankle. It doesn't matter. As long as he gets his hands together and wrapped around. Let's say, just one more scenario. I do get his hands to the mat and I'm controlling. If Luke just grabs my leg from this position, that still counts, okay? Any questions on that? Okay, so anytime there's a connection, you guys are gonna switch underhook and overhook. All right, we're gonna do that for 3 minutes. Questions? All right, break on 3. 1, 2, 3. I'll do overhook, you do underhook. So we still have the same scenario of like underhook, overhook, but now we're at a win condition for the guy with the overhook, and we're going to change up the win scenario for the guy with the underhook. So not only does the guy with the underhook have to get hands clasped together, but he has to make one of two things happen. He can either grab his hands together, and he can either create a twist forward or a lift backwards. Go for step your hips in front of mine.
Okay.
Left knee.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Here. Or if he goes behind me, he has to get a lift. I say you don't have to finish that part. You just have to start that motion. The overhook. Now we have our sticky feet. We can either get them to get their butt to the mat, like through a sweep or something, or I can get his hands to the mat and get my head over his head. So let's say I use an uchi loop and get my hands connected and my chest to his back, just like this. That's good. I'll even count a quick head over head. So like, let's say his hands don't even catch the mat. I'll count that as a win condition, okay? So remember, the guy with the underhook, it's either a rotation or a block and lift. Both of these finishes are either in front or behind your partner, never on the side, okay? Questions? All right, break on 3. 1, 2, 3. There's a few problems that I saw. The first one, as Luke was talking about, is your partner making a lot of space. Yeah, and they're trying to square up. The first thing, which I didn't go over the rule, but we can't disconnect from our partner. We have to stay connected the whole time. However, we can do things like swap sides. So what that would look like is maybe it's like, as he starts to create space, maybe it looks something like this. And I get my hands together. Or maybe you're starting to square up or whatever. Maybe you have a tough time with that. So I start to create pressure this way. And as that happens, I could look to either throw by. I could look to, as you start to make space and go square, I could look to try and get to a single leg. Just swapping between sides will help you out a lot. Just learning how to deal with this as they square up. Maybe I'll have to use my leg to create an off balance. And then from that point, I can look to get to something. So you're just going to have to play with off balancing your partner, whether it be taking them, you can square out with me if you want, whether it be taking them forward, or maybe it's taking them backwards, something. Just play with your partner's base to try and help you get to a better connection, or switching sides. So we also have one more thing I want us to add in before we go to the legs. We'll just do this for a few minutes, not very long. We're going to add in hand assists. So for the overhook guy, when you go to something like, instead of just using your feet to stay sticky, you can now use your hands. So whether I'm like, oh, I try Uchi, but he steps back, I block. Oh, go back, just so I can do this slow. I block and use my hand. I can then use my hand to assist. So we're going to do this, and I want you guys to concentrate on a couple different things. One, using your hands to assist your takedown, but also learning how to switch sides. So if you start on one side and they start to square up to you, learning how to switch to maybe another side to get something going. There's something I'm playing with. I think that might help. Questions? All right, break on 3. 1, 2, 3. Just back and forth. Legs. Give everybody a break from wrestling. We're going to play a game, and this is just about learning how to control and transition between legs. So we're going to have to do both of these objectives on both legs. So it's single leg. We're going to start here. You're going to have an offensive player and a defensive player. Both have wing conditions. Defensive player, all he has to do is break the connection, open up the legs, and just get away, right? Doesn't really matter how he does that as long as he gets away from the entanglement. Offensive player, you're going to start from single leg X, have your controls, and you have to make both of these things happen. I need to get my legs to go to double outside, back to single, and then I'm going to switch sides and do the same thing. If I can make these happen, that's a win. When you guys switch legs, you have to keep connection while you switch legs. Okay. If you start to go, let's say, double outside, and Luke is able to disconnect, then you guys will swap. He won that one. Okay. So you'll always have an offensive and defensive player. Questions on that?
No subs.
No subs. Just control and then transitioning. Okay. All right, guys. Break on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let me see single leg. Everyone's doing a really good job figuring out some cool transitions and stuff. If you notice, it doesn't always have to be exactly like this, where I go 1, 2. Maybe I encounter a problem where I have to start to stand up, and then I come in like that. And then you can start to invert and look to, and then come up. You got so many different options, and it's cool that you guys are starting to figure that out. So our next objective is we were working on getting our feet to the outside. Now we're going to the inside. Now, the cool thing about this game is, like, I don't have to do it in a particular order, but these 3 things need to happen on each side. So I need to make sure that I get the foot across the hip. I need to get my, let's do this side. Foot comes across the hip. I need to get my feet both to the inside. And then from here, I have to gather this foot. And we start from single leg X when we do that. So the tricky part, not only that, but I have to then get to the other side without losing connection. So I can't just go like this and then go. It might have to look something like where I start here, and he's trying to get out, by the way. Yeah, it might be like, oh, he shortens that leg. There. And remember, it doesn't have to be in order. It could be something like where I start here, and then I get feet over, then I cross. That's perfectly fine. Then I grab the leg. But you just have to meet those 3 requirements. From single leg X, foot goes across the hip, feet go to the inside, and then you collect the far leg. Any questions? Remember, you got to do it on both sides. Meanwhile, the guy defending is just trying to escape the whole time. Yeah, of course. If they don't have a far leg, then you just break that leg. Yeah, exactly. Get the third one. So, single leg X to the opposite hip. Feet go to the inside. And I collect the far leg. As long as you make this happen, and then you go to the other leg, you win the game. If the guy disconnects, he wins the game. That easy. Exactly. Break on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Getting the leg inside and switching the leg over. Where's some checkpoints on like controlling that hip? It's hard to do that when you're on hip pin.
Yeah. So you're talking about like once I get feet to the inside,
Yeah.
or
I can go to I guess 411, but then move them to the outside to the end. I'm losing control of their hips.
Yes. So you're actually going feet first and then swapping foot to the hip, huh?
I've done that before. When I go straight outside Ashi, I get my back taken off.
For sure. So you're going from here to here,
and then go in and then move my leg over.
So
if I go to outside, the person I'm going with usually does a good job of taking.
That's the downside to outside. That's why we keep a guillotine or ankle lock grip for when we do that. It's tougher to take the back.
Okay.
That's what prevents that. But something to make this a little bit easier for you, like the transition. All right. It's a couple different things. One, I could look to control this far leg as I look to enter. So maybe I'm here, and I'm gonna rotate on my side and control this foot. If I can keep it off the mat, it makes it much more difficult for him to get behind my knees, and I can get an easier transition. So this will help. And then from that point, you can look to gather. That helps. You can also look to put the hip over first and then put the feet over. And then what that does is it allows you to threaten coming up, and that forces people to react. And yeah. So anytime I get, let's say I'm at single, and I go from here to here, I can now threaten this. And what that does is it forces a reaction. He's either going to look to start to try and get up himself or look to come back. He's going to look to start framing against me. Yeah. So that's something that I was going to add to you guys. It's like, don't forget about the element of like coming up and then re-entering, inversions and then re-entering. Those things will help. But yeah, so I wanted to introduce this. Like the maintenance is, and like the pummeling and everything is much more difficult in legs. We always think about, just finishing mechanics, but the control is so important. So I want you guys to get used to that. Any more questions or anything about what we went over? Cool. We'll get some rounds in and everything. Just remember for the leg stuff, I want you guys to always concentrate on like, how can I control my partner's, how can I control my partner's joints, like meaning like his hip, keep his hip pinned, keep this knee isolated, and control the foot. If you can control these 3 things, it helps out so much. And then one universal rule, and I'll shut up about it, but try and get double trouble as much as possible, meaning control both legs. So whether it's putting one foot underneath this far leg, or maybe it's gathering both legs, something like that. That'll help you guys out a bunch. Cool. All right, guys, break on 3. 1, 2, 3.